Welcome to our nightmare, bitch. You thought it was Freddy versus Jason? Well, today it's Freddy and Jason coming to you live. We're talking Halloween. Well, folks, you heard what Freddy and Jason had to say. Basically, we're talking Halloween, from movies to spooky stories that we've heard based off of true stories, maybe even. I mean, we got all sorts of stuff to talk about. I mean, it's Halloween, guys. You remember the thrill of being a kid, putting on a sheet with holes cut in it, and running out to some stranger's house and begging, demanding candy. Well, we're going to capture that feeling of nostalgia today on the Arguably Awesome podcast. That's A.CARD. Oh, hold on. That's A.CARD.
Yes, I'm here. You're there.
Yeah, I know. I always got to struggle sometimes with the... Do you mind kicking us off here with some of your earliest childhood memories? I personally don't have a whole lot because I did live in a Christian family that, you know, sheltered me from those pagan holidays. So I didn't necessarily get to involve myself in all that. Yeah, I mean, you know, there were family friendly Halloween type events like parties at people's houses or like going to SEI or like the mall at Lloyd Center and doing like Halloween like
costume browsing at the stores.
Basically. Well, you know, it's their way of getting people to come into the store and buy stuff for the holiday. But like, yeah, you know, why don't you come to Lloyd Center? It's a big, open, safe place and get some holiday treats at like Hollister or, you know, no, what was it? It was Abercrombie.
Oh, really?
Well, back when Lloyd Center's Abercrombie was a thing. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do. No, I remember the Hollister, but I don't remember Abercrombie because I never had been in there.
Clackamas Town Center had the better Abercrombie, but on the second floor, once upon a time ago, they used to have one. Anyways, now I'm getting distracted.
I'm trying to find a mask. I don't know if I still have it. It's Uncle Slappy from Goosebumps.
Sounds like you're tearing apart the attic.
So yeah, anyway, yeah, whatever. So my earliest memory is 97 or 98. Goosebumps TV show, I think, was still on Fox Kids. So they had at Clackamas Town Center, they had the Goosebumps costumes on display in the middle of the floor walk. And
that's so sick.
Yeah, and I got an Uncle Slappy. But I never went trick-or-treating. I just wanted it because I was obsessed with that puppet for some reason. I guess he's pretty much an icon of the series, as I later grew to know, and for good reason. He was just interesting.
And you said his name was Uncle Slappy?
From Goosebumps. I mean, I didn't go trick-or-treating until probably 2002? No, 2000 or 2001, because I was obsessed with the Phantom of the Opera at that time. I read like a short children's or young teens reader book of it that really broke down the long story, easy for teens to read. And I was like obsessed with it. I'm like, man, I had never watched the movie, but I knew who the Phantom was from Lon Chaney Jr.'s dad. And
oh yeah, that's right.
And what was it? I found this really cool rubber mask at the Halloween store, the Halloween Mega Superstore, whatever they call it. And it's like you can rip the white part off, and it's like a burnt half Freddy Krueger face, which I used in a Freddy Krueger fan film in 2003. But yeah,
you did a fan film?
I've got a lot of footage on VHS tape of home video and just short movies I did in high school, from like middle school and high school, from like 2003 to 2007 or 8. Oh, no, 2007, because in 2008, I started utilizing my mom's digital camera, and I could finally upload to YouTube when she upgraded her laptop from our iMac from 1999.
I do remember that.
So, yeah.
I do remember using that old stuff, man. Wow. Those were the days, huh?
Trick-or-treating exactly 20 years ago, almost come this October, 2021. So, yeah, I was the Phantom of the Opera, bought little parts here and there to make into one part. I was, what's his name? I forgot the actual character's name, but I was the pilot.
Oh, that's so fucking sick, man. I wish now I just kind of wish I could have seen how that went down.
Oh, and it was at the time when razors and needles were found in candy. That was the first time that that started popping up in the news. Ooh. My dad would say,
that
"Check your candy before you eat it." And I wouldn't.
It was like caramel apples, all sorts of stuff had stuff in it. Like
who
it
would
was
do
weird.
that to kids? Why?
Probably the same types of people who were leaving poisoned meat for dogs in parks and stuff.
Oh, that is messed up.
Probably the same kind of person, some sick freak.
Well, here you
there we go. You keep entertaining the guest here. I'm trying to pull up a little screen with some information about Halloween here for us.
Okay. Maybe we can Michael Myers' house, front of his house as my background, or Tales from the Crypt.
Love that.
Little side while we're waiting. Back in 2004, a year after the movie came out, I got an autographed Freddy vs. Jason photo from Robert Englund himself to Anthony Sweet Dreams Freddy, Robert Englund. And I had communicated with his wife, actually. She was, I'll do one more shot.
Yeah.
She was.
Let me zoom in on that one. Hold on.
She was helming.
Nice.
She was helming the. This is from the set of Freddy vs. Jason. She was helming. I don't know how to. She was in control of his emails from his actual website because they controlled it. So I would communicate with her back and forth on my mom's old. What was it? Not Netscape. I think it was Comcast on the iMac. So if you remember what iMac's email was like that, she'd share behind the scenes photos that nobody had access from that were able to be shared, like a Robert and Ken Kurtzinger, who played Jason at that time.
Yeah.
Just on set doing this. Wow. I wish I had sent those emails to myself, but we don't have them anymore. Because I would have loved to like have those digital photos and just the archive of those messages that we went back and forth to each other.
I got to talk about vampires for a minute because they're like one of my favorite like supernatural like beings from like that whole like Halloween type of.
Yeah.
Oh man, I love their lore. It's so dark, so heavy, so like passionate though. And that's the thing. Like Anne Rice was trying to capture the passion of like being a vampire, and people were just like, oh, you might as well just be writing porn books, whatever.
your Freddy Krueger, to go back on Anne Rice, your Freddy Krueger glove hanging on the wall reminds me of the Freddy Krueger glove hanging in the shed of Evil Dead Part 2.
Yes, dude. Yes, I was trying to hang it up like it was a cameo. Like, oh yeah, no, Freddy's been here.
I remember seeing that before anybody pointed it out in the VHS, and I was like, "What? That Freddy's glove in the back?" Anyway, that Anne Rice one, I really liked it. I was kind of hoping. I never knew Queen of the Damned was a sequel to The Interview. I really wish Tom. I think Tom would have done it. I think I looked up why Tom Cruise didn't accept it, because I think he was doing Mission Impossible 2 at the time, and his schedule, because he had did Minority Report, Mission Impossible 2, and then I think Vanilla Sky, or that was 2001. Vanilla Sky, great movie. But he couldn't accept the gig because it conflicted with unfortunately.
Basically, his work schedule kind of was fucked up.
And I think the movie would have done a little bit better. Maybe not a box office hit, but it would have done a little bit better than it actually did.
Yeah, because like it wasn't like terrible or anything, but I think even Anne Rice at one point said that the movie didn't quite capture like what she was trying to say.
As gritty, like you said in the episode. You have to link that at the end of this episode. You have to link to that video.
I'll probably have a card
Halloween
or something.
Related.
It is definitely Halloween related. Take a trip back to season 1 for a minute.
Yeah, let's go.
I like their whole vibe. They're like creatures of the night sneaking around in the dark. Like some people say they're allergic to garlic. Some people say you can't enter the home of someone until someone invites you in if you're a vampire, and blood isn't necessarily like hot or anything, but there's a certain like removal, I think by the middle of like a vampire book, I've pretty much equated blood to like water. And so it's not as gross. It's just like, oh, you just take a little drink, just getting himself a little sip. But I've never really thought of them as gross. They're kind of like leeches in a way, but like I guess glorified. But there's something to their lore, like what's always attracted me. There we go. Here, I found it. The fact that they have these frames, like some of them can be like thin framed, some of them can be like huge, and they've got the strength of like 20 men. I thought that's always impressed me. The feats that vampires are able to do, leaping like 3-story buildings, or like, you know, some of them flying at certain points. You know, it's pretty incredible. Turning into mist.
Have you seen that Cinemassacre Angry Video Game Nerd? Because he does every October. He has a whole month of what's it called? Monster Madness or something like that. Where he does a short review of his favorite independent, international horror movies from every country, and he gives a review like why it's best. But he did one about Dracula, so he did from the very earliest archival footage to the newest, and he would put like which one's more faithful to Bram Stoker's version, and it was between one with Christopher Lee, I think, but maybe we should link that. You know, shout out to Cinemassacre and James Rolfe from AVGN. It was an interesting, almost an hour long, 30 minutes, 40 minutes. It was pretty interesting.
Oh damn!
So I think you would like that if you haven't seen it.
I actually haven't. I will be linking that because that sounds amazing. Honestly, I've only captured like 2, or what am I trying to say? I've only caught 2 of his episodes of him actually like reviewing movies and stuff. I missed that one, and I would love to view that because like I'm just obsessed with vampires, man.
It's a problem. You need to go to Bloodsuckers Anonymous or something.
Yeah, I will admit I'm not a complete sap for him. Like I may have watched like, you know, the Twilight series, but I can recognize when some shows just really aren't that great.
Yeah, it's they are really trying to ride the coattails of what Twilight was, from what I heard. You know, Tezra was into that. One of our mutual friends was like, my God, I can't watch it.
You remember they dragged us to go watch that? Somebody dragged us to go watch it, of our friend group.
Our friend Katie and somebody else. I can't remember. Yeah, it was number 2. And I was like, I got teary-eyed when she had to reject the werewolf guy. What was his name? Jacob or something. I was like, what am I seriously not hate these movies?
I was always team Jacob, and the only reason why really was because one, like he was less trouble, man. Like he had less going on in his life. Like the vampires always had some sort of crises that they were always trying to work themselves through. And Bella could have just been chilling at home, you know, hanging out with Taylor Lautner and his abs, and just like eating a sandwich or something, and just not even. She would have had to fight no Volturi. You know, vampires are so uptight. They have their rituals and they have their councils and stuff like that. And it's just always so like rigid. You know what I mean? And the werewolves were just like, hey, just don't tell people you're werewolves and you're good.
Or you'll
die. I don't know.
We'll tear you up.
Oh, right. The vampires always want to tear someone limb from limb. Like, yeah, you know, it's like, chill out.
Whoa! Wait. Oh no! I'm leaning forward to that. Was definitely on accident. Oh my God!
What, are you about to have another moment?
This computer would have shut off, and I would have spilt my coffee everywhere. Oh my God! See, I'm gonna fall. I'm using like a camping chair. Ugh. Anyway, speaking of vampires, still, if you know Tom Hiddleston, Loki, right? Yeah, help me.
Yeah.
Boom. I watched this last year.
Oh, here we go.
It's from 2013. It's 9 years old now. I never had heard of it. It's with him and what's that actress? So they've both been in Marvel movies. It's Tilda Swinton, Tom Hiddleston, Mia Wasikowska, and John Hurt. They're vampires in modern time. Yeah. So he's a rock star. It's almost like how Queen of the Damned was, where
he looks like a pretty decent.
Yeah, it's like Lestat when he becomes like into rock music, right? He was like a rock star or something.
Yeah, and the Queen of the Damned.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
So I was like, okay. And this story is good. It's not like people dying, getting shredded. It's actually a love story between 1,000-year-old lovers that's gone on and off. So he's like artistic, sophisticated, and centuries old. Two vampire lovers ponder their ultimate place in modern society. So it's really about, do they want to continue? Do they feel out of
Oh,
place now, living all these years? And I was like, this is a great story, and I know
that's
Eric would
good
like
shit.
it.
Actually, oh, I love that. Actually, now I got to check it out. 2013? Can't say I've ever seen that.
Right?
Wow. Oh, I like that a lot, actually.
Do you mind if I talk about Ryan Gosling for a second?
No, does he have his own vampire stuff that he does as well?
No. That'd be interesting. No, in 2009, him and his sister's fiance had a lot. They got to know each other. They had a lot in common, and they created this band. Now, some of you might know this, and some of you might not. But I randomly stumbled up because I was going through a Ryan Gosling phase because he was just busting out movie after movie. Like it was really good. He still does. I'm glad that he's selected. But it was when Drive came out, I discovered his band a year later. That was a couple years late, called Dead Man's Bones, right here.
Okay, Dead Man's Bones.
It's a rock duo consisting of actor Ryan Gosling and their first album. We'll have to link this in the description because I don't want to play any music over this, just in case. But it's very 60s sounding horror. It's really good. And my favorite song is My Body's a Zombie for You by them. It's a bop. You can really get down to it, especially around this time of the season. It's what is it? Rock duo consisting of actor Ryan Gosling and Zach Shields. Their first album, Dead Man's Bone, was released on October 6th. Now, I don't know if... I know they did some tours. For a couple of years, they were doing some tours in the Los Angeles, Hollywood area in small venues, and they'd use the school choir, that the kids that do the background choruses.
Yeah.
They had in their band, and they take them with them and do these little small venues. Are they still together? Dead Man's Bones, new album. Anyway, I highly recommend checking them out. No, it looks like there's still only one album. I've been hoping for a second album.
Just for shits and giggles.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely worth checking out. It's a good Halloween tune to play.
Man, I'm gonna have to check them out.
Do you have any bands you like listening to that remind you of Halloween?
Well, usually something like oh gosh, I mean, when I was a kid, it'd be more like just fucking like some emo shit. Some fucking Evanescence or some shit, like Linkin Park and shit.
Oh, okay.
When I was a kid. You remember me back in high school? I was very moody.
Yeah. Weren't they all?
Yeah. But I don't know, Halloween, I mean, Rob Zombie comes to name, you know what I mean? Not just the Halloween theme, but like I don't know, I like that song where he's like swallowing the worm.
Oh, was he drinking tequila?
What does he say? Something in the undertow. So, I can't remember the name of the song, but
Dead Eye in the Storm.
Yeah.
Rob Zombie is a great Halloween time band artist to listen to.
Pretty quintessential.
And his new Monsters Netflix series is coming out soon. I think
I'm excited.
Netflix? And then what's his name? Tim Burton's Addams Family.
That one's giving me kind of like and I really hope it's not going to CW itself, but it's giving me what vibes is it, like Riverdale or like some of those newer shows about properties that were like more for kids back in the day, like Archie comics, and then they make them all gritty and edgy. But it's like, how edgy? Well, because I mean, they've got Wednesday Addams as a like a detective or something like that. She's like aged up a little bit. Now she's like solving crimes in the town. And don't get me wrong, that's cool. Like I want to see it play off. But it definitely, like, I don't know, it kind of gives me it's a different vibe.
For Tim Burton, it's a little weird but I'm really interested in seeing his. I think Beetlejuice 2 will be better than
Is
Wednesday.
Beetlejuice 2 coming?
Yeah, it's in the works. They're in pre-production.
Wow.
Johnny Depp's supposed to be Beetlejuice's cousin, but I would have rather saw the sequel that they were going to do in the early '90s
Oh my
called
gosh, when they
Beetlejuice
go
Goes
to...
Hawaiian.
Oh, I
I
knew
could
you were
see
gonna say that.
haunted tikis. I mean, come on, who would want to see that?
That would have been like
awesome.
Scooby-Doo Monster Island, man.
I mean, it probably wouldn't have done well back then, but still would have been a hit later. They should have went with it.
Shit, I do have a prop that I want to grab.
Okay.
Real quick, if you don't mind. I'm just gonna switch my little cam off real quick.
Thumbnail. Oh yeah, it's Jason, have you been a good boy? His mom was abusive. No wonder he's messed up.
Okay, now got something to show you here.
It's not a dildo, right?
No, even
okay,
better.
Oh, even better. Whoa, what?
Yeah,
I'm a little scared now.
What is this?
Is that a candle?
Is that a Scooby-Doo 2 custom-made Scooby-Doo 2 Monsters Unleashed cup with actual slime? Yes, it is.
Get that.
Well, I happen to love this movie so much that I actually got my mom to make this for me.
How did she make that for you? She just looked up customcups.com.
She actually makes these.
What?
She'll buy like the little cups or whatever, and then she'll just wrap the image around it and do like a pour. I think she said like a paint pour over it. I will say this though, Mr. A.CARD, that
I want to Where's Waldo one. I'm gonna ask her.
Well, too bad, because you're getting an arguably awesome cup first.
What?
Yep, already got it in the works, brother. Sent her the logo the other day, so probably look forward to that here in another week or so.
Oh, how would you like this, Eric?
What is that?
Han Solo's lucky dice that hangs in his Millennium Falcon.
You want to give those to me?
Yeah, why not? You can hang them on your you don't have a car, so it wouldn't be as cool. But you can hang them on your keychain if you can find a little
Yeah, you don't want to keep those?
Well, I got another pair.
Oh, okay. I'll take them.
I was gonna say, I definitely wouldn't give them away if I only had one. But yeah,
hang them over by the Freddy glove maybe.
Oh, maybe. I won! I know, right? Wow. You can hang them.
You say pocket dice, pocket sand. So, geez, we spent the first half hour talking about some pop culture stuff with Halloween, but I want to pull up a screen for you myself as well.
Okay. I told my students this in Indonesia, the origins of Halloween, and they were like, what?
Gosh, so many ads to click off of the screen.
I hope you're going to read about what I read about. I hope, because it should all be the same, where it started in Europe, right?
Exactly. I'm over here on the History Channel.
Okay.
And they're basically... Yeah, I like the History Channel's like layout. It's like, that's kind of cool.
I follow them on social media. At least on my Instagram.
I did. I saw that actually. Yeah. So they go into detail. They start talking about Halloween and the 31st and yada yada. But then they start talking about how it's a tradition that originated with the ancient Celtic festival of Samhain.
Yeah.
Where people would light bonfires and wear costumes to ward off ghosts. In the 8th century, Pope Gregory III designated November 1st as a time to honor All Saints. Soon, All Saints' Day incorporated some of the traditions of Samhain. The evening before was known as All Hallows' Eve. I love that. I love the way it sounds. And later, Halloween. Over time, Halloween evolved into a day of activities like trick-or-treating, carving jack-o'-lanterns, festive gatherings, donning costumes, and eating treats. Which, honestly, like I was saying before, as a sheltered kid, I didn't really get to enjoy that right off the bat.
I was too scared.
To go out and see people in all those crazy costumes?
Until I got older.
I can see that.
Early teen.
I can see that. Traditionally, this day marks the end of summer and the harvest and the beginning of the dark, cold winter a time of year that was often associated with human death. The Celts believed that on the night before the new year, the boundary between the worlds of the living and the dead became blurred.
Mm-hmm.
On the night of October 31st, they celebrated this holiday where it was believed that the ghosts of the dead returned to Earth so they could ward off the spirits.
Does it explain about the point of the costumes? Did you know about what the story is behind that?
Let's see. 1/4 of the candies. Oh, well, that's no. Let me see. It said the part about trying to ward off ghosts, but it doesn't go into further detail. It looks like.
Should I tell you that?
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and stop sharing this so that we can talk about that more.
The part that I read besides that was a little extra for my junior high students.
No, please.
Because they don't celebrate Halloween over there, and if they do, it's usually adults have like a party at like a bar or some kind of thing, just for fun.
Mm-hmm.
But they would have a bonfire at night, have skinned animal, the animal skin with the skulls on, and they would dress up in disguises that would scare the ghosts and demons off. So, because they were wearing scary stuff, and it would protect them from evil. So that's the whole point behind the costumes. So it's a little dark. Now the candy part. Did you mention anything about the candy? Because it briefly mentioned candy, but there was a reason also for the trick or treating.
So the article that I was looking at was starting to get into the like sales of candy and how much Halloween attributes to that yearly. But as far as like the trick or treating part goes, I personally would imagine that it was something for the kids. They're like, hey, this is also serious and grim. We're wearing dead animal skins and skulls to scare off ghosts. You know, why not make it something that the kids can also, one, help us with, and two, not cause a panic by involving sweets.
Satanic panic mid-80s. Wow! Satan!
You love doing that. Satanic panic. Wow. Memories.
Hey, it was a real thing with all that metal music.
Well, geez, I know. My dad pulled me out of a Hot Topic one day when the music got a little too screamy.
Oh, you want to see Satanic Panic? Watch the movie from 1986, Trick or Treat. Not to be confused with the movie from our generation. But Rockstar dies, comes back, vengeance, kills everybody by his music being played.
Oh, so that's all it takes?
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. That's pretty cool. I like that little educational spot we have. Today we have a little educational moment.
Hey, we should
like have that every episode. Things. We should have a little bit of an educational spot of history on each topic we're doing.
We've been trying. I mean, I feel like the theme culture episode about the theme parks was pretty informative.
Oh yeah, that was in depth.
When we talked about aliens, I feel like we were telling people good stuff about like Roswell. You know what I'm saying? We would try to like balance out the idiocy with some actual like book learned like knowledge.
What about paranormal?
Yeah. Demons. Have you experienced anything paranormal personally?
Only in my bedroom when I was like 7 years old. Heard somebody breathing. I don't know if I shared this before on the podcast, but I heard something breathing, and I thought it was my dog, so I said his name, and I was like, he's not in here. Why would he be in here? And then I stopped breathing. I was like, and it was like,
oh no.
And I'm like, okay, it was a little slower. I was like, and I was like, what the hell? I was like, Mom! I never heard it again ever since. It's the only time I've ever had that paranormal stuff for me, man. It was
good Lord, this sounds freaky as hell, man. Well, let me start out by telling you about the time me and this guy went toe to toe.
Was it a dream?
So, yes.
Oh,
yes,
okay.
it was.
I actually did have a dream about Freddy Krueger too.
I was just turning 13. I'd seen the movie. I knew he killed teenagers. I in my mind, I was like, I'm not safe. I've crossed the threshold now. And I watched a lot of Disney Channel as well. This is probably why I think this dream meshed the way it did. With that being said, here we go. So I'm in the dream and I'm having like a totally like kicked back like 90s style house party in the house from is the house from Sister. I'm hanging out with Tia and Tamara Mowry.
Wow. Okay, smart guy, you were taking the place. You were the replacement.
Roger was there for some reason. Like everybody was kicking it, and there was this like box in the middle of the room. It was like a pretty big size box. They called it the party box, and so they sent me and the sisters into the box, and it was kind of like cool looking on the outside, but when we went inside, it was like dark and grim. We're just kind of like, oh, what's going on here? It just kind of looked like a cell, like just like slate, like super clean walls, just dark and gritty. And then out of the shadows in the corner walks Freddy Krueger, just quoting some line about "Welcome to his nightmare" or some shit, and he disappears. And I don't know how I could see this part, probably just because it's a dream, but there's like 3 of him now on the outside of the box, and they're trying to crush the box in against us. So it's getting smaller and smaller. I hate small, tight spaces. I'm claustrophobic, so it's just like getting really small. And then I remember thinking about the part in the movie where the guy was like fighting back against Freddy, and I was like, pretty much like, not in my dream. And so me and the sisters start pushing against the edges of the wall, and we start forcing the box back open. Mm-hmm. And I mean, you've seen the inside of the house from Sister. I don't know how this next part happened, but basically we expanded the party box out until all 3 Freddys got crushed against the outside like walls of the house. Mm-hmm. And then we were finally able to exit. And then I don't know, I kind of woke up after that or something, but I just remember feeling this like sense of accomplishment, like, oh, I didn't die to Freddy Krueger tonight.
Wow, I didn't die at the glove of Freddy. It sounds like one of those cliche Halloween special sitcoms from the 90s. They'd always have something like, dun, dun, dun.
I think I had watched maybe Freddy Krueger and an episode of Sister in the same night. Like, oh, it was Wes Craven's New Nightmare. Ooh.
I remember seeing that on TV back in the day, like a year after it came out. Yeah.
On channel, who showed it? It was AMC showed it.
I don't even know where I watched it.
The American Movie Channel. And dude, that was creepy. Like the part where he shoots his tongue out when they're in the furnace area. He's just like wrapping the girl up. She's like, ah.
The part that I saw on TV was where that little boy gets under the bed.
Sucked under the bed.
They get lost under the bed sheets, but then she gets pulled into a coffin. And like under the coffin, I'm like, what's going on here? Freddy Krueger, what are you doing?
There was so much space under the bed. It was like when that girl is taking the bath and Freddy pulls her under, and all of a sudden she's in the ocean.
Yeah.
He's just like, damn, what the fuck? Oh man, I loved that concept of like somebody coming and fucking you up in your dreams. I mean, it was scary, but that's why I loved it so much, because it did what it was supposed to do, scare the crap out of you.
My Freddy Krueger nightmare was a little different. It was like a year or 2 after the movie came out, and I'm downstairs in my kitchen here, walking down the stairs. The lights are off. It's nighttime.
Ooh, spooky.
And the windows are open. Wind's blowing. Lightning's flashing outside. The wind's blowing. The curtains are flying around. Like, and I have to go past the curtains. Like, where's these curtains coming from? And then I just hear Freddy laughing, and I see him going past the windows like, ha, 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 ha. Ooh, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to die tonight. And like, he'd go past every window and then get up close, like, ah. And I'm like, oh my gosh, and I just woke up. It was like a little nightmare sequence from a movie. I was like, that was awesome.
You're like, it's over quick.
The storyline wasn't, I don't know, the writers in my head didn't create a very good story. It was just like a cinematic visual art piece, I guess.
Well, hey, at least like you only got visited by Freddy. You know, he didn't make an actual attempt.
Yeah.
You know, he was just like, I'm here. I'm
kill me, guys. Sorry. I'm still here.
Oh my gosh. I love those movies. Robert Englund did such a good job.
Did you ever have any horror? I want to share some horror sounds, actually.
Yeah. I think we were talking about paranormal things, and basically that was a dream I had of Freddy that was kind of, I guess, paranormal. But other than that, like, I've never really felt like I've seen ghosts. I've always kind of like believed, like when I used to do janitorial at the hospital, I would hear weird noises, and I used to believe that was ghosts. But then I'd be like, no, it's just some test samples going through the pneumatic tubes in the ceiling. Yeah, that's it. Definitely not a ghost bringing the roof down on me or something.
Yeah. I do like watching those ghost footage videos if you ever find anything like somebody's house camera or something, because you never know what's real, what's not. We don't know. We want to see.
The one where the little specks float in front of the camera, those ones.
Yeah.
I'm like so over those. I'm like, yeah, right.
Oh man. But besides paranormal, Halloween, these stuff would always scare the shit out of me. Some of these sounds back in the day were like, ooh, ah!
Nice.
Like,
We've now
that's
crossed the
creepy.
section of the podcast where we talk about Halloween novelty spookum toys.
Actually, when I typed in Halloween scary sounds, I found this, and this is the actual only tape cassette I had.
Right. I was going to say,
music,
wow, that's classic.
Chamber of Horrors. I don't know where I got it or how, but I also had a CD, but that was like 20 years ago, but I didn't care for that. But still, it was like, oh man, the starter pack. I did have this Casper from Pizza Hut, actually. I had this one, and I just read this to my students.
Arthur, it's Halloween. Holy crap, that's classic. Oh, the Haunted Mask was one of my favorite Goosebumps, man.
That was kind of creepy. That one kind of creeped me out. That and Werewolf Lake.
Oh,
Fever Swamp.
Werewolf of Fever Swamp. Yeah.
And Werewolf Skin, where the parents have this werewolf skin in the. I was like, God, that's creepy. And then you see him outside, and they flash the camera, and you see the photo of the. I'm like, God, Lord, werewolves creep me out, but I can't stop watching it.
Do you remember when you and I went and saw Benicio del Toro in The Wolfman?
The Wolfman. I love that film. That film was great.
Was it 2013?
2010.
2010. Wow, yeah. Anthony Hopkins and Benicio del Toro. I thought that was pretty good. I liked more of the practical effects of certain parts. Like I felt like the CGI in certain parts didn't really like lend itself well to the story.
Yeah.
There's the part where he's all tied up and chained up in the court, and then he starts changing his head. His head just kind of looks like it's sliding around on the neck a little bit too much, and you're kind of like, it's breaking the realism for me.
I know there were some parts. I also had this McDonald's one right here, scary sound effects. McDonald's, what was it, 1995? Yeah, I actually had this McDonald's sound effects, I don't think I had any of the other ones. I definitely had the scary sound. Yeah.
Oh, damn, is that like a magnifier thing? That's nice.
Yeah, you just hover over it on eBay and
oh, gotcha. I guess I don't go on eBay much.
It's a pretty good deal for all four of those. I mean, how could you not? Besides that, do you have any memories of your favorite Happy Meal toys around Halloween?
They had some pretty sweet Halloween themed McDonald's toys. Let me just add that there. Like, oh yeah, like that fucking what is that? Grimace and the Pumpkin. I had that one.
I had
oh wow, and the
I didn't have Birdie. That was the only one I didn't have. I didn't have the pumpkin one or the birdie one, but I had these.
I had the pumpkin and the birdie.
Really? Crazy. See, I could have got it from you.
Met me and traded up. Oh wow, and the ones over there with the French fries and shit.
Wow. Yeah, McDonald's is bringing back these buckets. So Eric, if you want to dip down and get a kids meal, they have the original buckets coming back this Halloween, this October.
Like the ones that had the mask and everything, the freaking chicken nuggets.
Yep, wow. I had some of those too. I think I had 2 or 3 of them.
I had the Frankenstein one and the vampire one because the vampires are my favorite.
Oh. You're going back to vampire, yeah. I remember some of these. Oh my
god. The one just over that one, that the one next to the Happy Meal unboxing.
This?
With one more row up and then 2 over to your right.
Oh, to the right, right here?
Yeah.
These kind of look familiar, but I don't think I ever had
those ones had masks that slid down as well.
Oh shit. Gosh. Remember these? Oh, was this from Taco Bell? Oh, this is McDonald's.
Go-Go's Crazy Bones McDonald's exclusive.
Like you bounce, like you rolling like dice or something. I could never understand it. You'll recognize. I had one or two of them. Here, these. These. You remember these? Oh, this one right here. This is the one.
You have so many tabs open. Holy crap.
Well, yeah, the other one's like Ghost the Band. I still have some. You remember these?
I just barely do. I think I had I remember the blue one with the lips and the headphones.
There you go.
Wow.
There you go. There's a vampire one for you.
Oh wow. Nice. Classic. Gotta have my vampires.
I know. They just
I wonder what other tabs you
memories. Oh wow, and here's even the original kids meal box they even have to sell here.
They saved the box.
Oh, the Scared Silly, the McDonald's. Man, I cannot wait for our McDonald's episode for real. At some point, we maybe season 2, maybe within season 2. Yeah. What other ones do I have open? Scary sounds.
Oh, you did hear me say that.
Yeah, I'm curious. I mean, these are just random pictures from the 90s.
Are these kids' costumes in the 90s? Nice, dude.
I mean, some of it's
wow.
Cat dog. Where? Oh, I see. Right there. Cat dog. Cat dog. Some of it's kind of modern, though.
Yeah, there's some interesting ones here. I saw one that looked like Xenon from that Disney movie. I see that dinosaur Baby Bop from... oh, no. Oh, it's Halloween Town.
Filmed so in what part of Oregon was this filmed? Shoot, I forgot, but I've been there with Leland because that's where the big pumpkin is. They set it up there every Halloween.
Oh, you and Leland always do cool stuff together and leave me out.
Oh, but hey, this was years ago. We don't do that stuff anymore. What was your favorite Disney Halloween movie? I remember the first one that ever came out was Under Wraps, and I watched Bed, Can of Worms, Halloween Town.
Hocus Pocus and Halloween Town are tied for me for #1 spot. I think I'm gonna have to give it to Halloween Town. But like Hocus Pocus is like so classic, you know. I'll put a spell on you.
I like Don't Look Under the Bed.
Don't Look Under the Bed wasn't bad. Was that the one where the girl teams up with like the boogeyman?
Yeah, from under the bed, and then he like keeps turning evil. I'm possessed.
He's like, I can't resist.
Under Wraps was a good one though. That one was like, I liked that one, especially that opening scene with the weird ass Jason Voorhees looking guy shoving the girl's head in the knife in the sink. Another great band to listen to around Halloween. If anybody knows Ghost Band, I'm sure you do.
And A.CARD listens to Marilyn Manson.
Oh God. Some of his things I've listened to.
Hey, no judgments, brother.
Do you want to go to Halloween movies that you can recommend? Do you have a top 5?
Top 5 that aren't Disney Channel Halloween.
Yes,
movies.
Classic Universal monsters or modern movie monsters like from the 30s, 40s, 70s, 90s, 80s.
Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. If people could find the movie adaptation for that one, is a good one too.
Robert De Niro. Where he plays Frankenstein. I think that is.
I don't think I've seen that one.
That was a good one. It came out not long after Bram Stoker's Dracula with Keanu Reeves.
Now you make me want to look that one up.
See, so we had what's the guy's name who plays Dracula and Bram Stoker? Dang it.
It's Vincent Price, isn't it? Or am I getting that one wrong?
No, you're talking about the one with Keanu Reeves, right? From the early 90s, Francis Ford Coppola's movie.
What?
The guy who plays Commissioner Gordon in Christian Bale's The Dark Knight series plays Dracula.
Gary Oldman?
Yeah, Gary Oldman plays Dracula in Bram Stoker's Dracula. Robert De Niro plays Frankenstein in Mary Shelley's Frankenstein.
Crap.
And then we have Benicio del Toro in The Wolfman. All three of those movies are great modern, universal modern.
I have to be honest, though, that I have never seen like this.
What? Oh, that's good, dude. It's really true and faithful to what the movie... I think it's like a modern take. But the one with John Hurt is also a good one called Frankenstein Unbound, where he like a time-traveling scientist who goes back to meet Mary Shelley. And then it turns out somebody actually made a real monster. And they try to... It was wild. It's good.
Wow, Robert De Niro plays Frankenstein's monster. Very interesting.
I can't believe you've never seen it. It was great. But you've
It
seen the
is
Gary
good.
Oldman one, right, with Keanu Reeves and Anthony Hopkins?
Oh yeah, and what's that one you were talking about?
Bram Stoker's Dracula. That's funny because Anthony Hopkins plays Van Helsing in that one to help Keanu Reeves kill Dracula, and then he plays a werewolf in The Wolfman. So
Gary
he's
Oldman,
had quite a
Keanu
horror
Reeves.
thing.
What the fuck?
Dude,
You're
it's
blowing my
famous.
mind.
He turns into a werewolf in that movie, and he turns into a bat.
Oh
He,
yeah. Gary Oldman.
yeah, it was
What
great.
the fuck?
It's
I
kind of
might
like
need
a
to watch this
steampunk
again.
version. Gary Elvice from Princess Bride's in it as well.
Wow, I've only seen this movie but once when I was a kid, so makes sense that I didn't really realize.
What was that one video game console? Not the Atari.
Wow.
They made The Crow for it, and it was a horrible game.
Oh Jesus.
It was the first one that could play discs.
It wasn't the Neo Geo, was it?
No, it's from like the early 90s, but they made a disc version video game, and it was horrible. Horrible. AVGN, of course, covers it.
Well, and you know what sucks is that I really liked the movie The Crow, like the first one.
Yeah.
And so it was kind of disappointing that the game was so bad. But
like how do I can't, where am I going? I want to go left, I'm going into the wall.
It's those kind of like forced perspective video games from back in the day that kind of stink. But it's only just because, you know, the cameras were so like they didn't have the technology to just have the camera like doing all that crazy stuff. So, you know, they set you in this top down like 2.5D aspect world where you're kind of like it's got some depth to it, but not really. And you're like, I don't know, it's interesting. And the combat was a little clunky, but I mean, those are the times, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But that movie is one of my Halloween ones. It literally happens on Halloween. Like they're burning down the city during Devil's Night in Chicago. It's amazing. And what better story to watch on Halloween or around Halloween time than the story of death and rebirth, revenge, sacrifice, and forgiveness. And it's also cool explosions and stabbings and gunfights. Martial arts.
Pretty good.
It's pretty good shit. And I can't remember who plays the bad guy in that. But he was in the movie Nope recently. He's the camera guy that they hired to help capture the alien. Dude, you need to fucking see it. So the bad guy from The Crow is in that movie. You'll know him when you see him. He's old as shit, but he looks great. He sounds great. He's just got this voice. It's got this deep timbre. And like in The Crow, he's all like, he's like really eating up the dialogue. Like the way he talks to people, it's like a father to a son. So it's always kind of interesting to hear him deliver his lines. He's like, "Well, you know what, bub? I guess now I gotta kill you." And then he like shoots him or stabs him or something crazy.
I need to see this. I looked it up. Bad guy in Crow. He looks like a vampire in The Crow.
With his hair hanging down. Yeah, he does look like a vampire in The Crow.
It reminds me of the characters that Benicio, not Benicio, what's his name from the Interview with the Vampire? Antonio Banderas. I have to say it like that.
Crap. This picture right here where it shows remake and reboot the Crow movie.
Yeah.
Are they about to remake the Crow?
I don't know. I think that's a possibility, a good selection if they ever decide to. I don't know.
I mean, that's not a bad selection, but I'm like, wait, what?
So Michael Wincott was in the new Crow movie?
Michael Wincott's in Nope, the new Nope movie.
Nope. Oh, Michael Will. Yeah. What's his name?
Michael Wincott.
Oh, it like comes up. Michael Wincott. Nope. I need to see what it looks like now. How did you recognize him? Did you just look him up?
No, I love his performance in The Crow so much. I would recognize his face and his voice anywhere. He killed that role.
The voice would give it away. Wow.
He's got such a great voice, man. I swear. Oh my gosh, Michael Wincott does such a great job. That is one person who I would love to get to talk to at some point. Like, man, what was it like fighting freaking was it Brad? See, I can't even talk now.
What? Now I'm confused.
His fight scene with the crow. My mind's blanking now. All I can think about is Michael Wincott's badassery. He like runs a dude through with a samurai sword. He like snorts coke and eats an eyeball. Like he's just so weird in the Crow, you know. Just because everybody is pretty weird in the Crow movie. I mean, these three gangsters drink bullets with their shots in the beginning of the movie. I mean, it is a wild ride. It definitely has the feel of like Tim Burton, but like if Tim Burton were trying to be edgy.
It's dark. It's definitely dark and edgy for sure. The Crow movie.
Mm-hmm. What you got here? Classic Monsters box? Nice.
This is actually the DVD collection that I have. I recently bought it.
You bought the 30 film collection? Nice.
Yeah.
Now, see, those look like what I was talking about originally. I was talking about those Halloween movies.
Yeah, those are the original classics that they re-released them on VHS in these nice artistic cases back in the 90s.
I just didn't know about the ones with De Niro and shit. Holy crap.
Those were modern day remakes with a little bit of a twist, I think, or they were trying to be more faithful to the books. But yeah, these are classic Universal monsters: Frankenstein, Dracula, Mummy, Invisible Man, Wolfman, Bride of Dracula, or Frankenstein.
Invisible Man is so good.
Universal monsters. So I loved this collection back in the 97 Burger King. Yeah, 1997. See, I can remember the year because I used to I almost had all of them. I still have one of them. I have the sea creature. The creature from the Black Lagoon. You fill him up with water and he squirts the water out of his mouth. This right here. Here is. You ever had these toys, Eric?
Yeah, I got the one in the back there, that the Swamp Thing.
Me too.
And then I had the vampire with the coffin I was saying earlier.
Okay, yeah, badass. I had the Wolfman and I had
always got a vampire.
Couldn't get these two. I don't know why. I kept going there. I'm like, hey,
I wanted the Frankenstein.
One. It lights up, when you put him on the lab table.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was great.
And even the simplest of toys back in the day still were pretty good.
Mm-hmm. I know. You can't get good quality toys from fast food places or the store anymore. It feels cheap and hollow. We never finish our favorite movies.
Well, you had so much screen sharing to do.
Remember this Wolfman?
I can't say that I do.
It's like a little boy who has fever dreams. Oliver Reed from The Gladiator and some other movies. This is the UK's version of Universal Studios. So Hammer Horror Films had a lot of Christopher Lee and oh man, what is it? Christopher Lee and the guy who plays Tarkin in A New Hope. Oh my gosh. Yeah. What is his name? Christopher Lee and Peter Cushing and Oliver Reed. So they have their versions, altered the story a bit, but still it's like a low budget Universal Monsters with Christopher Lee, Peter Cushing, Oliver Reed doing the Wolfman, the Invisible Man. That's the Invisible Man, or the Phantom of the Opera version. Can we get there?
It looks like you just about almost got it. You know, your camera's trying to focus on it a little bit. I don't know. Maybe you just like really just slap it against your cameras. oh, kind of. Actually, that helped a lot.
There, yeah.
That helped a lot.
So they changed the story a little bit, low budget version, but it was always so interesting. And The Curse of the Wolfman, my favorite. Oliver Reed is the Wolfman in a small town in Italy. And man, the girl in the beginning has some big old woohoos. Wow. What year was it? 19, it doesn't say. I think it was 1966, 65 or 66.
Some big old woohoos.
I'd watch this all the time in the 90s as a kid. And I finally got the DVD about almost 15 years ago. And it's a great steal. You get 2, 4, 6, 8, the best of. It says it right here, 8 film set. And now I heard after they shut down in the late 80s or late 70s, early 80s, the Hammer Horror Studios, they're coming back.
Oh,
maybe they're already back now. I heard about it last year or a year or two ago.
Sick. I know a lot of people are watching horror stuff on what is it, Shiver? It's like that streaming service that is like
Shudder.
making Shudder. There you go. That's like doing a lot of like horror stuff. Some of the stuff on there is actually pretty intense, man.
I know. See, Joe Bob Briggs is Midnight Drive-In, or
I didn't.
He used to be on in the 90s on TNT, but yeah, he came back. The Last Drive-In. He's on Shudder too, and he talks about horror movies that he loves. So you found it, Eric. You found Shutter.
I don't necessarily like it if I can imagine it happening to me, you know, an eyeball plucked out or that body gore horror stuff. I don't really do a whole lot of. I mean, there's some movies back in the day like Halloween that did it tastefully, like, you know, they'd stab somebody, but then they show the knife entering the dummy, and then they kind of cut away, and the next thing you know, you just see like a body hanging on the door later.
You know Tiny Tim? Tiptoe through the window.
Oh, yeah.
He was in a horror movie back in the 80s called where he played like a psycho killer who dresses up as a clown.
Holy shit. No, I didn't know that. It's not Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Can you look that up? Yeah, Killer Clowns. I cannot wait for that video game. I cannot wait. Unexpected.
Oh, getting a video game? Wow.
Yeah, look that up. Tiny Tim horror movie. I think it's from 1986 or something. 1982. It's a big gap,
Oops.
but uh-oh.
Whoopsie doodle. Of that.
Whoopsie doodles.
I guess I accidentally did that.
It was paranormal.
That's what I get. It probably was paranormal. No, I'm sitting here using this keyboard, and I accidentally there's a lock button on it next to the delete button.
Oh,
and so it locked my freaking computer. And so all I can hear in my headphones is just like disconnected. And I was like, oh God, no, I hope it didn't stop the recording. I'm like, don't do that. Oh no. But no, it looks like it's still good to go. So it looks like the movie that you were talking about, this Tiny Tim horror movie, is called Blood Harvest. 1987 American slasher.
Yeah, is it on Shudder or is it
you can watch it now on the Roku channel, or
Fright Night.
Tubi has it for free, Plex has it for free, or you need a premium subscription on Sling or Amazon to watch it.
What's that? I need to find that one. I follow this one channel that shows a lot of 80s things. Flight. What's it called? Fright.
Wow, look at that. That's a
Night Flight. It's called Night Flight. Here's their Instagram. Oh yeah, that is. I want to see that movie. I tried finding it on YouTube for free. But
damn, I'm gonna have to actually figure out where to find that. That looks creepy as hell.
But if you look up Night Flight, can I get any closer? There we go. Flight Night. They started in the 80s and they came back and they just show a lot of underground independent horror. Before MTV, there was Night Flight, now streaming app featuring original NF episodes, Night Flight, some music videos, cult films, and more. On Roku, Apple TV, etc. So yeah, they would always have a special. It's really obscure and it's awesome. I recommend it. I haven't watched it yet, but I know they were showing that movie, Blood Harvest, on there, so I would see it. Feed.
Sounds like it's a pretty sick movie, man. Especially for them showing it in their feed like that too.
This is a sick movie.
Oh, you were talking about that. You finally found it. You were talking with Max, weren't you?
Yes, the House 1 and 2 double feature DVD, the best of the 4 or 5 films that ever came out, because it has an actor from Cheers in both movies, a different actor. I'm like, this is bizarre. Is there a connection here?
Yeah, you said it was the guy who played like Calvin Klein or something like that.
Calvin Klein? You mean the fashion designer?
Kevin Klein? Calvin Klein?
No.
The mailman from Cheers is what you were saying last time.
Oh, George Wendt, the heavyset guy from Cheers in the first movie, and then the guy who plays Ham, the voice of Ham in the Toy Story movies, plays like this exterminator who somehow has a sword with him, preparing for these paranormal events randomly out of nowhere. I was like, what? It makes both stories interesting. So the first one's about a guy who plays the prom king in Carrie, the original Carrie, William Catt. He plays a divorcee writer called Roger Cobb. Moves into this house that somebody hung themselves in. It's haunted. Woman offed herself because she can't handle this craziness, because every night at midnight some crazy shit happens. And he starts hearing this shit, and then George Wendt, the Cheers guy who's the annoying neighbor, ends up helping him to witness this thing. And he's like, dude, I think you're overworked. I think you're crazy. But at midnight, he's proven wrong, and that's when it just gets wild. And he's also having Vietnam trauma flashbacks because he has PTSD from like memories of his friend dying. And the guy who plays the friend right here, the military guy, it's the security guard from Night Court, and he also plays in the Bizarre Life of Howie, that Nickelodeon show where the guy turns into a dog, the kid turns into a dog.
Oh, 100 Good Deeds of Eddie McEddown.
Yes, he's also the old guy in that thing that only Eddie can see because he put the curse on Eddie. So what's that guy?
Man,
the second movie,
good show.
You remember the movie where the guy dressed up in blackface? That 80s movie? He pretends to be black. It was because the Amanda Bynes movie was a ripoff of that. He's the man, she's the man. But this one was from the 80s. This first one.
But they changed a gender switch. They switched it to a gender switch instead of a racial.
Yeah. So back in the thing, he dresses up. But the guy who did that is in this movie. What's his name? Ethan Wyatt. No, not Ethan Wyatt. That's the Ari Gross. Bill Maher has a short cameo in.
Well, I got to be honest, man. You probably wouldn't see me watching too many like movies with people in black, but.
I know, right? Different times. It was still going on in the 80s. It's crazy. I think that was only one movie though that did that. But yeah. The second movie's about a great grandfather from the Western days. They got to get this crystal skull. It's as good as the first one. 1 and 2 the best. My number one pick for you guys to watch, double feature this Halloween. I mean, we don't have to go into it, but you also know there's Friday the 13th, classic, Jason Takes Manhattan, my favorite, and Werewolf, number 1, The Howling, and Dog Soldiers.
I'm still going to have to stick with Wes Craven's New Nightmare. It's just such a good film, and they went totally meta on it.
Well, I have it, but
is it because they went meta on it? Is it because like the guy that played Freddy was, doing what he was doing in the real world?
It was just a bizarre. I know they were trying to make it like in the real world, breaks into the thing. I know that they were trying. It was a different intake. I mean, different intake. I'm intaking it. No, it was just a different take on the series. Like if the actors really got into that situation, I guess it is an interesting story. It's just because it's different from the Nightmare series a little bit.
Well, you know who's doing that now? It's like Scream. Yeah, because it didn't Scream have like one of the movies take place in a movie where like they were making a movie about the events, and then people started.
Was that the third one or the fourth one?
Some third or fourth, I think. Maybe the
could have been in the fourth one because I remember the third one. I remember the trailer. The dad's in the house. Somebody's in the house. I'm like,
oh gosh. I don't know. Sometimes I feel like some of those things need to rest on their laurels. Like, hey, you had a good run. Let it be something that lives on in people's memories.
I know, because rebooting, we'll have an episode on. I know I keep talking about there will eventually be reboots and sequels that take place years later, and it just doesn't hit the same. You can't have a hit like movies from the 80s. That decade cannot be repeated. Horror was at the top of its game. And if you want horror this season, I should advertise In Search of Darkness, the first DVD that they made. Nothing but 4 to 5 hours horror doc about 1980 to 1989 with the actors, the directors, writers, everything about it. It's amazing. I recommend it. In Search of Darkness.
All right. Well, I'm going to have to fire it at you fast here, man. So top Halloween costumes that you've worn in the past. Go.
I'm going to be honest. I've only gone trick-or-treating 3 times. The first one was the Phantom of the Opera. The second one was Jason? I forgot. Maybe Darth Vader. I think I went as Darth Vader. I still have my Darth Vader mask, by the way, from 95.
Nice, didn't, brother. Nice.
I failed in this. Sorry, guys. I've had like 3 different costumes, but I only gone trick-or-treating twice. I guess my Phantom one. I doctored it up. I got a little bit here and there.
You done anything as an adult, like Halloween parties?
The last trick-or-treating I actually did. Oh, yes. But the last trick-or-treating I did was with our friend Logan. Remember her? 10 years ago, I was there with her siblings. But we were at the Halloween party, right?
Mm-hmm.
She hosted 2 of those. Jungle Juice, I recommend it. You don't know what it is, look it up. Those Halloween parties were great. Oh
I
man,
drank Jungle Juice at my 21st birthday. I got
it'll
really
get
messed
you.
up.
It'll sneak up on you. You can't even taste it if it's made right. Wait, what?
Did
Sky
you?
Blue?
Oh, we mix more than that. But did they have fruit in yours?
Oh yeah, cantaloupe. Anything, any kind of fruit that can suck up the alcohol and release its own juice. Swallowing the fruit will get you in the end.
It's like you want to eat the fruit for relief, but then you just end up getting more and more effed up. Do you remember what you wore that time?
Oh no, I didn't wear any costume. Just wore a flannel or something, whatever I had at the time. Not a lot of us dressed up.
Yeah, I remember that. So I've only really trick or treated like a few times myself as well. I think that time that I mentioned before when I mentioned SCI, my mom still wasn't feeling the whole dressing up thing, so we didn't have costumes. The Lloyd Center time, yeah, we didn't really have costumes. But then there was a time a couple times I went with my dad and them. And one time I went as like a homemade like ninja. I had like I had like this kunai over here with me, and then I had like I think I was just like an all black. I had that stupid leather jacket from high school.
I think I've seen you wore that. Did you have a red belt?
I think so. One of those like stretchy like clipped in the front belts from like Gen X. But like yeah, no, and I had you remember the headband I used to wear?
Naruto?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had that shit on. Yeah, I had that shit on as well. I used to wear that shit all the time.
School, didn't you? You wore it to
all the
school.
time.
You wore that ninja costume or something, I swear, at around Halloween in 06 or 07 or something.
Something like that. Yeah, for sure.
I swear. Unless I just seen a photo.
Well, Danny also did like a ninja themed birthday party, and so I busted out that whole black get up again. Crawling up on the rooftops and shit. Anyways, and so there's that one. There was another one where I wore the all black get up, but instead I had like a ghoul mask. Not like the bleeding scream face one, but like some sort of leather executioner type mask. That kind of like went over just like a half thing, but instead of looking like metal, it just looked like leather skin stuff. So I called it a ghoul mask. And I was just walking around doing that whole like you shall bow down like to the Lord of Darkness like shit. And unfortunately, this little girl dressed up as a Disney princess, she did not like that, and so her mom was all like, "Quit following us!" And I'm like, "No one's following you. I'm trick or treating. Sorry, your little princess can't handle it."
Oh, jeez. Stop it, you stalker!
Well, because it's a huge crowd of people milling down the road in the same direction. Like, what am I just supposed to skip the house? I'm trick or treating here.
Do you still
I'm trick or treating? I think I carved a pumpkin last year.
Me too. It's been years since I had one. I came back home, got those nostalgic feels. I had to do everything.
But true Halloween tradition, I'm going to go get a pumpkin from the pumpkin patch. And I'm going to carve it.
I got one from the store. I was too. Oh no, I did go to a pumpkin patch. There was like a hay maze somewhere. And I got one last year. Yeah, and I carved it. I roasted the pumpkin seeds for the first time I did that. And it tastes pretty good. Put a little bit of a paprika, some salt, olive oil, and what was the other spice? There was another spice in there, but man, did it taste good.
Nice. And then let's see. Favorite Halloween costume, I would say, was maybe that time where I just like I had another zip up hoodie like this, but it was Spider-Man, Spider-Man. So I just went as like a Spider-Man, but I didn't really have regular like the real bottoms, so I just wore a pair of red jeans. So pretty bootleg.
Okay.
But who the cares?
Hey, do what you want, man.
By that point, I was an adult. You gotta do what you gotta do, Pippin.
I mean, this is that time of the year. If you guys can find Tales from the Crypt, amazing stories, Tales from the Dark Side. What other weird shows we grew up watching? Twilight Zone, I guess. What's that one that Jordan Peele hosts now?
He was doing the Twilight Zone there.
But there's also another one that was kind of like the Twilight Zone in the 90s, but they would like show like some alien ship landed in the backyard. Where did it come from? I forgot what it was called.
I don't know. Oh, you lost me there.
I lost myself. Be safe when trick-or-treating. That's my advice. Be safe, have fun, and be respectful.
Yeah,
Don't just take
absolutely.
as much as you want. Oh, I mean, I don't know if adults are still doing her dream. Listen to this, but teach your kids respect.
And I hope that there's still like the tradition of like the lights on, lights off. Don't go knocking on every door. If you see the lights
Yeah.
on, that generally means someone's home and ready to receive
Or they
kids
didn't know that.
or they just didn't know about the rules. In that case, make them smell your feet. Ooh. Until they give you something good to eat.
Ooh. Yeah. Make them stinky. Don't wash them for a week or two.
Well, I mean, that's the spirit of Halloween. You got to scare off the ghouls. And so what better than stink?
Spirit Halloween has upgraded their cheap costume products.
Oh, nice. I might have to go out there and get myself a cheap costume.
Yeah,
Killer
I know,
clown.
Right? They're selling the laser gun now, so I'm tempted to buy it off the internet.
Do you remember that year when clowns were such a big problem?
What, 2013, 14?
I thought it was even more recent, like 17 or 18.
Oh, maybe you're right.
As clowns and like scaring people.
Like jump scare horror. Yeah, on YouTube. I couldn't stop watching it with the chainsaw. The It clown before the It movie was remade. Yeah.
Yeah, ridiculous.
Killer clown from outer space.
But I don't have any other safety advice. That was pretty good. So I think with that being said, thanks for listening to us fools like sit here and blab about Halloween. It's been a treat. No tricks.
But we have the treats.
Speaking of treats, you better be watching out for the rest of season 2 here. It's about to be delicious.
Hit it!
Yeah, I feel like everything, like because we're in Texas now, Houston, but like Austin, I think everybody says change too. I feel like every city has, obviously they change. It just changed over time. Yeah. So I don't know, man. I always gonna have a soft spot for Portland.
Oh yeah.
I feel like.
I was like, and both Doreen and I, our roots are there.
Yep.